but it's like 68 to 77 degrees. I mean, the range is so small. And the room for error is crazy.
No, and the 77 is like excursions allowed up to.
Right. One doesn't work or isn't as effective, or maybe the reaction is super, super bad and you just need to, like, you cannot leave it up to
fate.
Chance.
Yeah. No, I genuinely didn't know you needed to.
Yeah.
Until, like, I would say the beginning of the pandemic.
So for people who say, like, you need to toughen up your kid, they're going to enter the real world one day, I say, F off. Hi.
Hello. And welcome to EpiPod. Sarah is a mom to 2 little boys with food allergies.
And Danielle has navigated life-threatening allergies her entire life.
Living with an invisible health condition is so isolating.
The fear and the anxiety.
Trying to cover it up so you don't affect anybody else.
Especially your kids. Sound familiar?
Join us on the couch and take a load off with people who just get it.
We're so glad you're here.
Welcome to EpiPod.
Hey, Danielle.
Hi, Sarah.
How are things?
Oh, things are things.
Things are always thinging, aren't they?
They're thinging. The things are thinging. I am like still in, I've called my very expensive, nice area of townhouse Rat Palace. I'm not sure if I've talked about it. I probably have. I can't remember like what we've talked about with everybody and just together. Yeah. There are rats in my attic, and I'm not well. Yeah. Big gulp. Yeah, it's like, I honestly think that my complex needs a reality TV show. Like, it is wild. It's crazy. They tried to blame me. They were like, you brought the rats from your storage unit. And I was like, what storage unit? Like, what? Also, I talked to all these people. Like, I now know all my neighbors, and I know that this has been a 2-year long standing ongoing issue that you did not mention when I directly asked about any history of rodents.
Way to get off on the wrong foot.
Crazy. Yes. Crazy.
Oh.
If I move to like Aruba, don't be surprised.
But we'll just have to virtually remote you in for EpiPod. No, don't move to Aruba.
Aruba, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. You look like Aruba, Bahama, pretty mama.
I could totally go to the Bahamas right now.
Okay.
I'm for those not watching, I'm in a little pink flowery dress.
Like giving luau.
Very summer. Yeah. But it's still so hot here. No. Even though it's technically fall, no thanks, it's almost 100 degrees.
No, it's 96, and with the heat index, it's over 100, and it's going to be this way until like probably around November, during which case there may or may not be a freeze, and then the energy grid will go down. And there's another big gulp. Don't move to Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not so bad. I mean, life is busy as always, but things are going pretty well. My boys are currently healthy. Like, who knows when this airs if they will be healthy, but they are at this moment, and that's all I can ask for.
They both went to school today.
They went to school.
Which is a huge win.
It's a huge win.
Yeah.
I can't imagine people who have like 4, 5, and 6 kids. It's like, because you're just multiplying the chances of somebody being ill. Like, you're always going to have somebody home.
Yeah.
And I just, 2 is enough. Like, I'm good.
It's crazy.
Yes. So one thing I was thinking of on my way here, and I always see it, it's such a good little reminder. We're going to have to give them a shout out in the show notes, but this is bringing us to our topic, which is about epinephrine auto-injectors. Obviously, we all have to have them.
EpiPod girlies need their epipens.
Yes. Have to have them. We have AviQs, which we love. We can go into that in a minute, but like, this sweet family, they developed some like allergy helpful products and things. It's like super small business. They have like 3 products, one of which is like a little book for kids. Anyway, they sent me, our family, these door hangers.
Cute.
That are basically like, don't forget me. And it's like a little picture of epinephrine auto-injector, like a EpiPen style.
Cute.
And we just hang them on the door, like to the garage that we go out to get into the car. And it has actually really saved us several times. And I was like, I have to give them a shout out on here. We're not like affiliates or anything, but I'm like, they gifted them to me. And I promise you, like, I would buy them. If I knew like what they would have done, like before I was gifted them, if someone had told me this, like I would, they're cheap too, you know, they're just little door hangers.
Save you a trip back from halfway to the destination.
Way worth it for that. Yes. And obviously for safety reasons too. But all that to say, yes, we're talking about EpiPens, epinephrine auto-injectors, and like kind of the tips, tricks, and things that we've learned along the way, mistakes we've made, and just they're they're not the simplest form of medication to carry with you because there's a lot of rules. So maybe we start there.
Speaking of the temperature.
Yes.
That's the thing that I struggle with the most. I echo you on AviQ. I'm so thankful for it. I didn't even carry an EpiPen because I genuinely had no idea that I needed to until I was sent to the hospital.
Right.
And I didn't know. I'd never had a blood test. I didn't know how severe it was. I didn't know that Benadryl couldn't stop it. I didn't know anything really until I was 25. And I remember like carrying my EpiPen to a music festival, to Stagecoach, shout out, Stagecoach, Rage Coach. And it was really hard to like fit in a purse with my phone and my allergy safe snacks and hair products because it was like 100 gazillion degrees in the Palm Springs desert. And I just remember being like, this is so inconvenient. Like, do I really have to carry this? And I was like, yes, I do. But I didn't know even until like probably a couple years ago about the biphasic reactions and like why you do need two. I remember like it was so big and inconvenient that I only carried one, and I would put it in my boot, cowboy boot. It was 106 degrees outside. Probably just never read the label. But yeah, now with the AviQ, they're compact enough where I can carry to every music festival or wherever I'm going. And I have my Allermates little pack for it. They have all different sizes. I have like the smallest one. You have the biggest one.
The biggest one.
But yeah, I carry like the little like individual sachets of Zyrtec in there, as well as my two AviQs, and it has the temperature control, but like it is literally never cool enough in Austin, except for like probably like 30-ish days out of the whole year where the minimum does not reach well over the maximum of the amount of the temperature that your AviQ needs to be stored. I recently ordered off of Amazon these little like cool packs, and they're meant for lunch boxes, or no, they're meant for boo-boos. They're like boo-boo packs, but they're really small, and it came with a bunch of them. And so I just like stick a couple in the back of my, like in a different pocket of my purse for when I like walk the trail and it's really hot outside.
Yeah.
So that's been helpful. Yeah. I have a really hard time with the heat.
Yeah.
And it's like always playing a game of like, how long can I be in heat index 112 degree weather? These little ice packs can only do so much.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing that we found helpful is to have that insulated pack. So like obviously if the auto injector is going in the pack like at a stable temperature, which again, at least on the AviQ, I'm sure it's similar for EpiPens, but it's like 68 to 77 degrees. I mean, the range is so small. And the room for error is crazy.
No, and the 77 is like excursions allowed up to.
Right.
It's hilarious. I'm like, you literally gave me 7 degrees.
Right.
I'm just a girl.
Right. Yes.
I'm just a girl.
But the insulated packs, I feel like it keeps them more stable. Like even if you are out in the hot sun, I mainly remember, of course, to like keep it out of direct sunlight. So if it's in the shade, that helps a lot. And then, bringing an ice pack of some kind, it also can't be too cold.
Totally.
So you can't put the ice pack like right up against the device. It has to be like a layer of some kind in between. So I usually put it in like the outside pocket just to kind of make the overall case cooler. But I mean, the temperature range is really tricky. And then going back to something you said before that I just want to make sure, I mean, I think if you're listening to this, you probably maybe already know it, but I don't know because you didn't know it. But I cannot tell you how many allergy parents I know who have told me like, oh yeah, like I have one in my bag, or like made some reference to like, I have one auto injector. And I'm like, do you mean one pack? Or do you mean like one device? And I will ask them because I won't sleep at night if I don't, I have to tell them like, no, that's not okay. And they say, oh yeah, just like the one, my husband keeps one and I keep one. And like, first of all, it's sad that allergists don't freaking drill that home. The minute you prescribe an EpiPen, the allergist should say it, the pharmacist should say it when you pick it up, whatever. Like that should be huge,
it's like 101
bold letters, because I mean, it's technology in a way. Like it's an auto injector. It is not. It's a mechanic thing. It could fail.
Totally.
It could totally fail. Or like maybe, one got too hot and the other one kind of didn't. And so one doesn't work or isn't as effective, or maybe the reaction is super, super bad and you just need to, like, you cannot leave it up to
fate.
Chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely didn't know you needed to.
Yeah.
Until like, I would say the beginning of the pandemic when I like got served something for red sneakers for Oakley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, which even more, it's like, gosh, I hope we can have them on this podcast because, I mean, advocacy is so important. You might think you're a broken record and saying the same thing over and over, but there is someone out there who's hearing or seeing that message for the first time and it could change their life.
Yeah.
But that is for another day.
That's for another day.
So what do you love about AviQ? And obviously this is not like a commercial for AviQ, but
could be.
Call us. But you talked about the size.
Mine is like almost 100% because of the size.
Okay.
But I also like that it talks to you, like just knowing as a single person, I don't have a partner. I don't live with my family. They're halfway across the state. Like, God forbid, I have a friend helping me, like it's talking them through, it's talking me through it. I've never used my EpiPen.
Right.
I really never have. And we should do this as a funtivity, you and me.
Yes.
Is like doing it on the lemon, like you explained doing with your teachers. I've literally never done anything except for the trainer. So just like that extra layer of comfort knowing like it's a robot, but like I won't be the only one in the room. Like it'll tell me when to release. Also, it's just like, I just think from the trainers, like, yes, there is like some pressure involved with the AviQ, but it's not like, I don't know, you're always taught with the traditional EpiPen, like you like move your arm at this degree of an angle and then like back at the thigh. And I don't know, the AviQ just seems a whole lot less dramatic.
You don't jab it. You more just press it into your body.
Right. And it is.
I like that a lot more too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's less dramatic for everyone involved. There's less to get wrong. So I really like that. And I love that it talks to you too. Like you mentioned, like doing the lemon or like, you know, orange, that I will bring to school and like have my kids' teachers use it so that they have that muscle memory of like, this is how it feels to use it. So they're less afraid when they actually have to use it.
You're so systematic. Like you have like your spreadsheets, you and Mark have your like checklists, like whether it's for treatment or allergist, like literally when we first got here, like, hold on, I need to call Mark really quick about this spreadsheet and these forms. And I'm like, huh? So like, I'm sure you have some sort of system for the EpiPens, right? Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about it in terms of
like expiration or like what systems do you guys have in place? I'm sure you have a bunch.
Yes. So one of the best things I ever did, and it's really simple, is to just set a reminder on my phone. So I have like a iPhone reminder that just goes off I think I do it like every 9 months. So that way or maybe it's like 10 or 11 months, somewhere before it's actually expired, to tell me to like look into ordering it. Now I will say the pharmacy we go through, they also kind of keep track of it. So they send me a reminder, like it's almost time. Our allergists, because we're in a treatment program, also ask each time, like they actually physically check the injector to see like when it expires, and that way they can put in a prescription for it if needed. So all of those things are really helpful and kind of make it easier on the parent. But I definitely set reminders in my phone so that way, kind of on the calendar time when I need to kind of re-up, it's in my brain and I do it right away. We also keep, another like little tip is we always keep the last epis like in a really reachable spot in our house. So like we of course have our 2 sets for each boy. One stays at their school, one stays in our pack that we bring with us anywhere we go. And then like on a very obvious, like easy to get spot in our bathroom shelf is like the expired ones from just the year prior, because a bunch of research points to the fact that like epis are actually usable for 2 years, even though they kind of expire after that year mark, according to the package. But according to scientists, like they should probably be good for 2 years. So it's like that backup in case we're just misplaced one for a second, which we really never do. But, there's always one that can be like easy grab if you just needed another one, or if it took too long for emergency people to get there, it was a super severe reaction. It makes me feel better to have those. And then we have our expired ones in like a baggie that says in big bold letters with Sharpie, like expired epis.
Really gonzo. The liquid is cloudy. Yes. Cannot use.
And it's funny. I think we actually talked about this on one of the podcasts that somebody said theirs was like not working, or the audio of the AviQ was doing something weird. I remember us reading a question and answer. Yeah. I can't remember the details of it, but the ones that are super expired, I'm talking like 4 or 5 years expired that we've practiced with, they will not talk. Like there's definitely, they're too old.
They're expired.
They're like, or like weird beeping noises and stuff.
Yeah.
So, obviously keeping them up to date and like looking at the dates of expiration on them and making sure you have some sort of system for remembering when to get new ones is critical. What about you? Do you have anything specific?
No, not really. I'm like a very unsystemized person. I am not sure what that says about my astrological sign or what. People tell me this all the time. They're like, wow, for somebody who has like such severe anxiety and is like such an overthinker, like you really make up for it in like some other areas. Yeah. Like showing up to an airplane that takes off at 11, aka boards at 10:30. I will show up at 10:20. Like to the airport, like getting out of the Uber at 10:20, and like still check a bag. Like I have a dog. Like it's not like I'm just like, just me and my carry-on,
One day that is going to burn you. One day. But I hope it doesn't, but maybe.
You know what? Thus far, I've been doing this for like all of my adult life.
That's
and it's
amazing.
Never happened.
Because I have shown up on time, like early, and still almost missed my flight.
That's hilarious.
The only time I've actually missed my flight was one time, and it was like such a dumb thing. I looked at my friend's boarding pass. We were going like separate directions. Or no, I don't think I looked at it, but we were like, when do we leave? And like she was like, 3:00, and like mine left at 2:00.
Yeah.
And so I was just like having a drink at the airport bar, and I go up to my gate, and it's like showing something else. I'm like, how do I get to Austin or wherever it was?
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, honey, that plane left an hour ago. I was like, no. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
That's an aside.
But yeah, like time or like these sorts of like systems, like planning, I am so black or white. I'm like overthinking it to the point of giving myself gray hairs, literally. Or I'm just like, whatever. And I'm not whatever about my EpiPens at all.
Right.
I think like it's usually around my birthday, which is coming up.
Hey, that's a good tip though, is if you can to kind of like renew your prescription around like a date, you'll always kind of think about it or remember.
Yeah. So like I am not la-di-da about my allergy or my EpiPen at all, but I'm la-di-da about a system because I just know, like my birthday's October 2nd. I know my EpiPen expires around like early October. And so like I need to order it. And I know
if it works for you.
Yeah.
And like one day, right? Like if you end up next year meeting the man of your dreams and starting a family right away, and it's like all of a sudden you have all these other things to be like thinking about and organizing and planning.
I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Sarah, add me to your systems.
Yeah. Yes. I'll mark you in my spreadsheet.
No, totally. It'll be like, when you add another device to your Apple family member, Mark's going to be like, Danielle, what the?
He'll be like, okay, it's fine. He'll keep it up.
That's so funny.
So, okay, what about traveling with them? We talked a little bit about like, you going to concerts and wrongly sticking it in your boot.
I don't do that anymore.
Yes, of course. But I feel like we get asked a lot, or like people ask me a lot on my social media about traveling like on airplanes, which we may have addressed in like the traveling episode, but just to bring it up here again, I have never, ever, ever been stopped for my auto-injector.
Never, ever, ever. Never. At least for traveling, it has never, ever been a problem. I also am never going to put it up top because what if there's turbulence and God forbid I need it. I'm also not going to I travel with a bag that's like basically a diaper bag. And it has so many pockets. Like I regularly lose, I'd lose my left foot in there if it weren't attached to me, you know? So I always have it in a fanny pack at the very top of it. It needs to always be within arm's length.
Yeah.
But I've literally, it's never even a thought when I travel. I do get stopped at music festivals for it because people put the these like kids say the damnedest things. People do the damnedest things at music festivals, like putting weird pills in vodka.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, they'll put it in sunscreen, like mini tubes. They'll put it in tampons. I once, for my friend's 21st birthday, again at Stagecoach, I put Jack Daniels in a bunch of mouthwash bottles, and I told them that I had like some throat problem.
Oh my gosh. They were like, this girl thinks she's fooling us.
So fly. No, people like do really weird things. And so I very often get stopped at concerts and especially at festivals. And they're like, what is this? And I say, it's an EpiPen. And they're like, oh yeah, totally. I remember being like, when I first started carrying it, especially the big like tube one, and also my age, they were like, look at this college girl, like what has she put in here? And they're like, can I open it? And I'm like, a needle will come out, but for sure, if you need to open it, like you're going to owe me about $1,000.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think they were really curious of the big tube ones because those ones look like things that people put nefarious things in. But no, and also the Allermates has the first aid cross on it, so I get stopped less and less because of that. It's also helpful to like get larger bags in, like for example at the Moody Center, my EpiPen, my Allermates won't fit in my clear acrylic concert purse, but I just usually take them out. But like if I want to take a bigger bag in that's not allowed, that it's sometimes helpful. Or like if I'm advocating to be able to bring my own food into some place where I'm not supposed to have food.
You're like, here,
I have. This is the EpiPen. This is the reason why I need these things. Like, you do not want me having a faint.
No. No. Yeah. And it's something else you said reminded me too, and we'll link this, but for a reminder thing, the Spoken app that we've talked about, they have you can put in your dates and stuff, and they'll also send you like an app alert. So anyway, I just wanted to say that before it left my brain again. Yeah. But that's so interesting about concerts and things like that. I don't think we've ever... I will say, like, when we've gone to an Austin FC game, like the soccer matches, or any kind of like big public sporting event, like the LSU game when we visited home in Louisiana, I agree. It was more helpful to be able to get more stuff in when you have it, like, again, the cross on the bag. You know, for me too, I'm like, these are like these little kids, like they need food, you know, let me bring it in. And I don't know, I feel like a young drunk college kid couldn't get away with it maybe as easily as I could, but still, I mean,
I got away with a lot in college.
Good, you should. Some of the rules, I get why there are rules, but sometimes I'm like, this is really
Mine
silly.
were never really allergy related. I was always just like, I know the doorman. If I don't go to the front of the line, we're leaving. And do you really want 6 of the hottest girls in Southern California to leave your bar? Like,
oh my goodness.
It was stupid. Yeah. But I remember the things that I used to pull, and now I'm like, oh, I don't want to jaywalk.
Yeah. Well, there's a time and a place for all our different eras and personalities, you know?
I personally have never had a generic, but so I have 3 of my closest friends from college. They're all older than me, and I always called them mom before they were actual moms, but now they are all moms to 2 kids each. Yeah. And 2 of the 3 moms have allergy kids.
Crazy.
One went through OIT, one is at TIP currently. Yeah. And they were having a discussion of like, our insurance doesn't cover our EpiPens. Like, it's the first of their kids is off to preschool. And so she's like, Danielle, like, how do you get multiple sets? And I'm like, I've never had multiple sets. I just have my AviQ, and I do it through the coupon via AviQ. Like, I don't use my insurance. I have self-employed people's insurance. I'm not sure what it covers. So far, nothing. Yeah. But that's a good thing, right? Knock wood. I haven't needed anything for it to cover. Thank goodness. Yeah. It only covers basically like big things.
Yeah. But the fact that there's a coupon, so that's information that maybe not everybody knows.
Oh, totally. The pharmacist like turned me on to that. I think I go through Aspen Pharmacy or Symphony. I don't know, whatever one Aspire sends to me.
Yep. We go through Aspen, and they are great. I feel like it's such an easy process. I do it all on my phone. I do think it's really annoying that everybody has different prices for it.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like, like AviQ is a totally different pricing. It has totally different coupons than EpiPen, then generic, and then each pharmacy on top of that. So you sort of have to play like, okay, how much time do I want to spend researching this, it's a lot less expensive than it used to be. Like when my friends are complaining about $300 or $400, I'm like, you don't understand. It used to be $1,000 when I was 25 or when I was 24, when I was 20. Like this was like a really big deal. I had to ask for my parents for money because I was like, I literally just have like an entry-level marketing job. Like I can't pay $1,000 for this thing that I hopefully will never have to use.
And that I feel like I could harp on for days.
Oh my gosh. No, it's a conspiracy theory. And I think that like one day there will be a Netflix documentary the same way that there was about, what's that? It's called like, pills or I don't know. It was about like Oxycontin and the family that monopolized like abused people's drug addictions
family or something.
Yes. I think that there's some sort of similar conspiracy on the monopolization of epinephrine.
Yeah.
And how they're making us pay for, at least it's not an addiction. It's like,
true.
But it's our wallets. And in this economy,
well, it's just not fair either that, I mean, it's all, it's also based on insurances, right? Like, so when we were on my insurance and then we went to Mark's and then Mark got a new job and it's like, it always impacts the price. Mm-hmm. Like we've gone from spending, $150 to $300 for a set to nothing, like getting them absolutely free to getting them for, I think this last couple of times we've paid $30.
What?
Yeah. And I don't think it's anything magical I'm doing. I really think that it is simply the fact that like we either have a certain type of insurance or we've met some sort of deductible or it was some coupon that was added to something. Like I feel like it's magic.
You guys need to adopt me. I know I'm 32 years old, but like, can I get on this insurance?
You're really campaigning for that this episode.
No, I know. Mom, Dad, my new last name is Fry.
Come on over. It's fine.
Okay, wait. So I was pulling up my texts because my friend Kelsey, she texted me and she was like, hey, have you ever used GoodRx? This was literally like 2 days ago. I just got an insane deal on my EpiPens. I'm used to spending $300 to $500. But it was like $100-ish this time. And I was like, whoa, no way.
Yeah.
So she uses a generic, I believe.
I've heard of GoodRx.
Yeah.
And then TeleRx, which we're, friends with them on this show.
Yes.
They sponsored a few of our episodes. They also have, if you're looking at spending $1,000, I mean, you can go on TeleRx and buy epinephrine auto-injector, like a generic, for far less. I think it's like $250. I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but and I'm sure it kind of fluctuates.
So it changes. Like even in the time that we were working with them a couple months ago, like it changed in the middle of our 4-week-long partnership.
Yeah.
So like that is also another funny thing about the epinephrine industry, if that's even what you call it, is like the prices moving, not just for us, but for the pharmacies. Yeah. So I didn't know that. I thought it was just like, oh, these evil companies like being greedy, monopolizing, but like they were explaining to us like actually it changes on our end too. So yeah, I guess just like whether it's GoodRx, TeleRx, a private pharmacy, a local pharmacy that your allergists use, like what I do. My mom friends, like they have AviQs, and then for their preschool or for their grandparents, like the second set, they'll have the generic. Mm-hmm. That way it's like the AviQs are staying with the kids, but their backup, like they still want a set like always at their different places. Yep. And they're able to save on that. And it's their plan B. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. And then we can wrap it here. But the other thing that you made me think of is that I remember one of the allergists we talked to at some point said, like, if they put in a note that says you need more than one pack, mm-hmm. insurance is more likely to cover the second pack.
Oh, that's such a good
tip. So
tip.
Making sure that you reach out to them and explain, like, hey, we send our kid to daycare. We want one to stay there. And your allergist will just be like, okay, great. I'll put in some sort of prior authorization for a second pack.
Totally. It's really interesting. I had a back surgery, gosh, I guess it was like 2021. And like the way that they were able to code it at my doctor's office, like the anesthesia, the like reason why I needed the back surgery, like all of these different things, mm-hmm. the price was thousands of dollars difference.
Yeah.
And it, like, she gave me the price and she was like, this is worst case scenario. We're going to like plug in some different codes and like, we're going to try and get it down. Called back 2 days later. It was thousands different. Some people are comfortable with generic. I have no knowledge or reason to believe it's not exactly the same. I just personally, especially when I was like brand new carrying an EpiPen, I wanted the exact one that my doctor told me to get. And it was like months and months and months back and forth with the insurance company. It was terrible.
Yay, healthcare systems in America.
I told you, Aruba. I'm kidding.
Let's go. Okay, well, I think that's a good place to cap it. Let us know if you have any specific questions for real, though. We can loop it into another episode.
No, also, like, if you have tips, like if you have loopholes, or like if you're friends with the back office folks at your allergist and they've like given you like, oh, this is the code you need to use, or anything like that you want to share, comment it or DM it to us and we will share it with the team on social media.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Okay,
questions?
Let's get into questions.
This segment is brought to you by Pulse Power, a high-protein, all-natural chickpea-based snack line that is co-founded by an allergy mom. And Danielle, we love these snacks in our house.
They have delicious snack sticks and chickpea spreads that are made in a dedicated top 14 allergen-free facility. A great choice for school lunches and snack boxes.
Okay, Sarah, I feel like this is up your alley. How would you handle an ice cream social for the entire school when you have a preschooler?
I feel like we have run into this. There was a donut day at Graham's school, like the PTA got, I don't know, reached some benchmark or something, raised enough money, something happened. And they were like, okay, now everybody gets a donut for like donut day, a celebration. And I'm like, well, there's truly only like one or two types of donuts in creation
in America
that are safe for my kids. So like, that's really sad. And what was worse is like, I got hardly any heads up about it. So for that, it was a little bit different because I didn't have time to like bake him one or run one up to the school. Thankfully, I had backup treats in the classroom. So like really special things that we don't have all the time at home that like we are shelf stable that we keep in the classroom. So the teacher knew to like pull one out. I mean, I feel like that still kind of sucks when everyone else is eating a donut and you don't get one. Now, if there is a situation where I know ahead of time and I can prepare something, I usually try to emulate really, really closely to what it is. So if it's an ice cream social and they have like 3 different types of flavors and 5 different toppings, like honestly, I'm that crazy that I would probably go and like buy a bunch of different toppings.
Wait, really?
And ice cream to the school and let them do it.
Oh my God, Sarah, you're great. I had such a different experience growing up, but I genuinely, like, I love that you did that.
I mean, I didn't do it. I said I would.
You would? Okay, you would. Like to the mom out there who's like, I have 3 other kids or something. Yeah. Like, or like, if you have an older kid and you're listening, you're like, oh my gosh, I never did anything like that. As somebody who, my mom was so extra above and beyond, but like I always had like my treat box in the thing. And I genuinely, and I remember the bad times, but like, I genuinely don't remember ever feeling left out because I couldn't have the 5 flavors and the choice of all the toppings. Like I loved just being like, really? Cause I got my Twizzlers and you got that like nasty ass donut. Gross. Yeah. Like,
and I hope every kid feels that way.
They might not.
But I mean, I know for a fact Graham doesn't. Like we're at a birthday party, he doesn't get the big shiny cake and he's sad.
Really?
So it's not, I mean, I think, I wish everyone felt that way. I just don't think, I think that's more of a rarity.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that, obviously. We'd have to like poll the audience. Yeah. But like, I just think most kids want the crew walks in with the big box of donuts and everyone gets to pick their favorite and you don't. Like, I think even if you don't really like it, missing the opportunity is, I think, what's even harder.
I think that's so valid. I totally see that and I feel that now. I totally feel that now. But as a kid, maybe it's because I never knew any different, or like, oh, their family like does turkey trots on Thanksgiving. This family like watches the parade in our pajamas. Like it was just, I knew it was different, but I didn't care. Also, my mom was like not even allergy related. Like I remember like all the way up until high school, her like knocking on the geography door, like in the middle of a test and being like, and she had like gone to Sonic and like got me an ice cream. Aww. And I was like, oh, not right now. So I don't know. I think that also was maybe a part of it.
That's a great tip for moms.
Yeah,
too.
It wasn't always allergy related, or like, here's your treat because you're the special allergy kid. My mom was always running like special treats to me at lunch.
Yeah.
Not because it was somebody's birthday. It was just like she had a meeting next to the school and like stopped at one of my favorite places on the way.
That's a really good
like
idea.
It didn't get branded as like you're special because of like, you know, we're marketing this as your special treat box, but it's really that like you have an immune problem. You have an immune system problem. It was like, I don't know. My mom was all like, people would see her coming and be like, oh my God, what did your mom bake? Like, or what did your mom do? And it wasn't, like I said, because of a birthday or because like the whole school was getting ice cream. It was just like my mom being hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. And I will say, I think I am not extra about a lot of things. Like I'm really pretty chill about things. Like for example, like birthday parties I throw for my kids, like people get all into the theme and have all these activities and spend all this money. And I'm like, it's a birthday theme. We're cooking the cake, like allergies aside, like we're just going to cook the boxed cake. Friends can come over and have some snacks and play for an hour and bye-bye. Like I am not an extra type of person, but when it comes to my kids, like feeling included when it's completely out of their control, it guts me.
Totally. As it should. I mean, it would be so weird if it didn't.
Yeah. And so I think for anyone who thinks that like me saying that is extra or saying that is like, well, you're going to have to, you know, they're not always going to get what they want. You got to toughen them up now. I just think that's utter bullshit. Like, there are so many times when I can't do that, right? There are so many times when he is left out, when he is othered, when he can't have what everybody has. So if there is a time when I can make him feel just as included and just as special, like I'm going to freaking do that, especially when he's 6 years old. So for people who say like, you need to toughen up your kid, they're going to enter the real world one day, I say, F off.
Yeah. I have another, I'm like having memories coming back to me. And this may be like a thing for allergy kids or like moms listening. Again, I don't know if this was an allergy thing or just my mom being my mom, but I remember so many times her being like, and I was just such a picky eater too.
Yeah.
That like, there were so many times where she was like, oh, like when it was safe, like when I was okay to eat this, like she'd be like, do you want to eat this? Or like, do you want to leave a little early and like stop at such and such on the way home? Like one of the places that we knew was good for me. Or like, or like dad's making such and such at home. Like, do you want to leave early and go do that? So like when it was really not a safe option and I did have to leave early or I did have to wait till we got in the car and went to my favorite place, it was agency. Like, during the times where it had to be the, yes, we're leaving early, or yes, we're going to have to wait until later, or yes, I want the thing in the car. But it wasn't always like exclusively that. Yeah. I felt like I was always getting to choose. Yeah. And maybe that conditioned me to just always choose, like, I want what's at home. Or like, oh yeah, I do want to go to Kiva Juice. Or like, ooh yeah, like, I don't really want, like, what is that cake? Like, I really would like the thing in the Twizzlers. Like, I don't know.
No, that's a great perspective and good to like keep in our back pocket as moms of like, okay, you know, maybe do the surprise treats, maybe do the, like, it's not always when it's an allergy thing, but just like make it a part of the normal routine that like you have this choice.
You get to choose.
I love that.
Yeah. Or like, it's not just like, here's this allergy treat. Everybody gets donuts. It's like, okay, everybody got donuts. I have a cupcake and I have your Twizzlers. Like, do you want either one of these? Or we can stop at X on the way home if you do have an X. Yeah. I know a lot of allergy families don't, but like, okay, you didn't get to choose the donut in the box, but you got the option of candy, cupcake, or drive-through. Yeah. Like immediately that goes from like, yeah, it's different, but like, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be better, but it's a choice and that feels great. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do a pool party. What are you doing?
Oh my, I'm going to cook my kids dinner and I don't know,
I'm going to a board game because it's so hot.
That's a great idea. I wish I could go to a pool party.
And by pool party, I mean, it's like me and my Kindle.
Oh.
And like my friend and her Kindle.
Actually, that sounds like the best pool party ever.
It's a 30s plus pool party.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that I could get down with for sure.
I think it's like 100. It's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for joining us. Write us a review, send us your questions, and thank you so much to our sponsors.
Yes, thank you. And we'll see you on social media.
Yeah.
See you on the gram.
And then see you next week.